Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing here in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series, and we start things off here in the trucks at Texas Motor Speedway. And actually I myself was in for all the races here, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series. The Truck Series was actually on accident. I forgot to change my name, but I will of course be in the truck, and I was already planned to be in the Xfinity car for the race at Michigan, where I did not show, but we'll just show the finishing order of that one as usual, as we were getting ready to go green though here at Texas Motor Speedway. Not a very good qualifying effort. Texas so far in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, statistically probably one of my worst tracks on averages, so definitely not a track that I look forward to coming to race at. Of course, as you guys know, I've complained about this track before. The new configuration of this track, terrible. Like, let's just be honest here. I do not enjoy coming to Texas Motor Speedway, but of course we got to get whatever we can get out of this racetrack, as we know we'll be coming here in the Cup Series in the playoffs later in the season. So obviously you got to be ready and you got to find something here, as we've always struggled here. So we definitely need to be on top of our game, because we haven't had the greatest start to the season in the Cup Series. We've had a solid start, but we're definitely going to need to pick it up in that playoffs, assuming of course that we do make the playoffs. But we were moving our way forwards here throughout the field. We had climbed up past Ty Majeski here through turns 3, as we were now up inside the top 5 as we came through out of turns 4. And that was really as far as I got. At this point, I tried running down Natalie Decker after I made that pass on the 45. And then the 16 of Austin Hill, though, he had actually run me down and into turns 3. These were now the later stages of this race. I was kind of in this little spot here for the majority of the race. Austin Hill out of turns 4 would clear me, though, as we were coming to less than 5 laps to go at this point. But then out of turns 4, Gus Dean would go spinning into the outside wall, and of course that brings out a caution here as he picks up another few trucks, the 87 of Joe Nemechek involved as well. So that would force an overtime restart here from the 6th position for us here at Texas Motor Speedway now as we go down towards turns 1. Unfortunately, the 52 of Stuart Friesen in front of me did not go very well, so I already got trapped a little bit behind as we come through out of turns 2 here, and the SpeedyCash.com 400 at Texas Motor Speedway on this overtime restart as we go down towards turns 3. A lap and a half remains. Todd Gilliland on the far outside with the lead, allowing Johnny Sauter and Natalie Decker to get into the mix. Can you expect Natalie Decker to really make something happen here? She's in position to do so now as we come through, crossing the line. Starting the final lap here in Texas, we clear the 23 of Moffitt as we dive down into turns 1 up the inside of the 52 of Stuart Friesen now as we come through out of turns 2, side by side with Natalie Decker as well, after clearing Friesen here as we go down the back straightaway for the final time. It's still side by side in front of us. Sauter, Gilliland not giving an inch as they come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time in the SpeedyCash.com 400 out of turns 4. It's still side by side. Coming to the line, it's going to be a photo finish, but it's Gilliland who holds off the veteran of Johnny Sauter for the victory here in the Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. What a finish there for them two as we come through to get a 4th place finish. So cannot complain about P4 at all in our, I guess, Truck Series return. Happy with that one, to say the least, especially at Texas Motor Speedway. So now, of course, it is time to show the order here from the Xfinity Series in Michigan. So we're coming to Michigan. I actually can tell you guys, for the Cup race, I turned draft partners on. So we're going to spice it up a little bit now. As you can, obviously, it's a big track, so I decided, you know what, we can try the draft partners and see how it works. But there you see the finishing order of the Xfinity Series. Unfortunately, I finished down in the 20th position. Chase Briscoe, though, picked up the victory here in Michigan. Alex LeBay down there in the 8th position. Our teammates like Harrison Burton and Brandon Jones up in the top 10. Herb's just outside the top 10 there in P13. But there you see the rest of the order on your screen. We got Mike Harmon down there in P30 and Ray Black Jr. who would finish in the last position. But now it was time to go Cup Series racing here at Michigan, which I've said before in the last episode, this is arguably one of my home tracks. I'm from Southern Ontario, Canada, and Michigan is about 4 hours-ish away from me, so we could kind of consider it like a home track to me now as we came through to start our qualifying run here in Michigan as we go down towards turns 1. The goal was a 38.988, so usually when it comes to a track like Michigan, I don't usually beat that goal, so I wasn't expecting to beat it, but I was hoping to at least come close to it now as we come through out of turns 2. Heading down this back straightaway now as I went down into turns 3 and 4 here. We're coming through with the 30 seconds at that point now as we come through out of turns 4, close to the goal. I think we're actually going to get a decent decent lap now as we come down the front straightaway, coming through to cross the line, and no, it's a little bit off about but 3/10 with a 39.206, and we go P19 here in Cup Series qualifying for the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. So P19, not terrible, but obviously we definitely could be better there. As you see the rest of the qualifying order on your screen, Chase Elliott P16, Johnson up in the top 15, and on the pole we have Ryan Newman. A bit of a surprise to myself, to be completely honest here. As you see, the flyover Microsoft Flight Sim is back here at Michigan International Speedway, and definitely doesn't look that great in the game, to say the least, as you can see that now. So a little bumpy it looks like now. Now as you're going to see, just a little bit of an overview of Michigan there for a quick second. Now I was going to send it over to our pit reporter here with Andrew.
Kurt Busch has had terrible luck all season long and finds himself just outside the playoffs coming into today. He starts at the rear of the field due to an inspection failure, and if this team does not get their act together, they're going to find themselves in a big hole for the rest of the season.
Alright guys, let's go get one today. We're closing in on mid-season now, I think it is, right? So hopefully we can get ourselves a win today for the first time this season. Let's go get a playoff spot. Alright, there you heard the radio transmission from myself to the team, as well as the pit report from Andrew, focusing on Kurt Busch, who's starting at the back today. He's right now just barely outside of the playoffs, in a tough position. Terrible luck to start this season. 5 finishes outside the top 30. Will he turn it around today? We're about to find out now, as the green flag is that we move up one spot due to Kurt Busch starting at the back now, as we start P18 here in the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. So Ryan Newman caught me a bit off guard starting on the pole here as we go down into turns 1. Newman, though, comfortably inside the playoffs right now, so he does not have too much to worry about. But behind us, we got Clint Boyer, a driver that definitely has had a few chances this season to go to victory lane, most notably Richmond and Talladega, where he was leading with 2 laps to go at both of those tracks and blew the victory away both times. Now as we go down this back straightaway behind Matt Kenseth, another driver who's in well positioned for that playoffs now, as we're definitely getting into that moment of the season where we're starting to really keep an eye on that playoff picture for a bunch of these drivers, like Cole Custer maybe, Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer, Chase Elliott especially, who's working his way back forwards, but he definitely is running out of time to get into a playoff position. Jimmy Johnson, he was in the playoffs a little bit ago, but he has fallen outside with some bad luck. He had a DNF recently in Martinsville, so he definitely is in need of a good run here in Michigan in his final season. The 7-time champion looking to make the playoffs in his final season in the career mode, like he did not do in real life. But we continued moving our way up through the pack here. Now coming through to lap 3, we are on the outside of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as I went down into turns 1, now up into P13 after being ahead of Matt Kenseth as we come through turns 1 and 2. But Kenseth, he's going to go up to that 3rd lane, getting a little bit aggressive early on here, and he's going to make it 3 wide down the back straightaway with myself and Jimmy Johnson here. But we get trapped behind Eric Almirola, who is clearly not very fast at this point in the race now, as I just could not go anywhere because I was in between him, Johnson, and Clint Boyer on my outside. So then I get to the outside of him through turns 4, trying to make a 4 wide for a moment there as we came out of the corner, but unfortunately couldn't quite make it stick. So I just get that draft though from Almirola's teammate of Clint Boyer here. Now as you see, a lot of SHR drivers in this group. 3 of the 4 drivers, Boyer, Almirola, and Custer, all outside the top 10 right now, as Harvick is well up inside the top 10 and even up inside the top 5, I believe now, or at least up in around P6 or so as we come through out of turns 2. So P16 after getting stuck behind Almirola, but we got a huge pull from the 14 of Boyer, blew right on by his teammate of Cole Custer into turn 3. So now back up into the top 15 as we send it up the inside of the 14 of Boyer, as we get right behind that 48 there of Jimmy Johnson, who runs behind his teammate of Chase Elliott. A little bit of contact there on the left rear quarter panel of the 14 car, but nothing wrong happens there now as Kenseth is just behind myself. So we gain another position now up into P14 as I was pushing Johnson down into turns 1 to get him ahead of his teammate of Chase Elliott. Not a good corner for myself there on the entrance, as myself and Boyer were still side by side, and we would continue side by side down the front straightaway now on lap 5, but I get a huge push from Matt Kenseth. Like I said, draft partners are on for this race, and you can see how much of an effect it has. It pushes me past Boyer as well as Chase Elliott now as we move up into P12. So now I'm kind of relying at this point on Matt Kenseth to maybe help me out here and get me ahead of maybe even the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Sure enough, again, down the back straightaway, he gives me a huge push, and we're closing in very quickly, but not quick enough to dive it up the inside of Johnson, but he actually takes the outside lane, so now we are going to go up the inside of the 48 there of Jimmy Johnson, and now as we come through out of turns 4, and once again, another push from Kenseth now as we go out of turns 4, and he almost hooks us, actually, as we do hang on to the car, thankfully, but we would continue this run. Kenseth continues to push me as all the way away to my teammate of Kyle Busch, who runs P10. We get up the inside of Kyle Busch as we dive down into turns 1, and now we're going to take another position away, this time from the two-time champ of Kyle Busch as we come through out of turns 4, putting the pressure now on Alex Bowman as we're going to get to the inside of him. The 42 nearly hooked me again, but this time actually gets to my inside as we're 3 wide across the line with Kenseth and Alex Bowman, but Kenseth clearly has a lot of speed in the car. He pushed us all the way up here, and as soon as he gets by me, he drives right on by, and he's now running down the 12 car of Ryan Blaney, who started this season off very well with the wins, but he's actually hasn't won in a while now, and he's still been running consistently in the top 10 though. So Ryan Blaney, definitely a driver we're gonna have to keep our eye on for the rest of the season, in my opinion. But now we come through running P10. After clearing the 88 of Alex Bowman, I would actually struggle, though, to pass Ryan Blaney as I'm running behind him here on lap 9, going down into turns 3, but now turns 1 and 2, we actually have a crash. The 13 of Ty Dillon, as well as the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek when spinning. It was a very quick angle of that crash there, as that's all I could actually find in the replay. Couldn't quite see what started it, but it looked like it was some type of tire issue now, as we would all come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires, and we would line up P11 for the restart. We lost a spot, but what you want to keep in mind here is Bubba Wallace and Chad Fincham. 2 of those drivers stayed out here on the pit lane, so now we are going to have 2 slower cars at the front of the pack, which could really spice things up here, as there's only 3 laps to go in stage 1 as we dive down into turns 1 of the inside of the 6 of Ryan Newman. Fincham clearly slower than everything right now on the planet. I think Molasses could actually outrun that 49 car at this point here as we go down this back straightaway 3 wide with Logano and William Byron. Here's we're also going to almost get to the inside. We do get to the inside of our teammate of Martin Truex Jr. as we dive down into turns 3. Bubba Wallace now just in front of Denny Hamlin as we come through out of turns 4. Will Bubba remain in that 43 car in the career mode? I'm not sure yet. We obviously know he won't be in real life, so we'll see how it plays out here in the career mode as we go down this front straightaway, pushing our teammate Denny Hamlin, trying to get him out in front of Bubba, and now we're going to follow through as well. So we climb up into P5 here on the restart with 2 laps to go in stage 1. So obviously these slower cars being in front helped us a ton, because now we find ourselves in the top 5 instead of P10 at the time when the caution came out. But Brad Keselowski leading the way. Kyle Busch, though, has a big run down the back straightaway. He's going to get to my inside. I decided not to fight him because I have a draft partner, Ryan Newman, actually coming up behind me, but Kyle is going to blow right by me, especially on the exit of the corner here as we come through out of turns 4. Clint Boyer is well going to follow through on the inside as we're going to get a push from Ryan Newman here down the front straightaway. I tried to take the run to the outside of Kyle Busch, but as soon as I move so quick that Newman couldn't even react to it to stick with me, so it completely stalls out as I dive down into turns 1 on the final lap here of stage 1. Chase Elliott behind us at this point, but he would not be able to get to us as we came through to the final half a lap in the stage on the outside now of Newman as we dive down into turn 3. We're going to get back down to that bottom lane, trying to get under that 6 car, but could not find the room needed now as we come through out of turns 4 on the inside of our teammate Kyle Busch, nearly making contact with him as we're going to come through to the line side by side with the 18 of Kyle Busch, but we barely get him there for the 7th position here in stage 1. So a very solid stage effort. I think we definitely might have a car kind of running in about the area where we should be. I don't think we have a winning car right now, but obviously as this race goes on, you never know what's going to happen. We could find ourselves in a position to have a chance to win this race. But Cole Custer rounds out the top 10 as he gets 1 stage point now, as we would come to the pit lane again for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. Ryan Newman and Clint Boyer, they swap positions on the pit lane, but that is the only thing that happened there as we get ready to go green now for the start of stage 2, which is now underway. Chase Elliott, Cole Custer just behind us. Elliott, a driver you really got to watch out for at this point now in the season. I said after we got through that little short track phase that I really thought the 9 would start to get some more speed in that car, and sure enough, he is getting more speed. He's climbing his way back up through the points, closing in towards that playoff position, so we're going to have to watch out for him here today at a track like Michigan now as we come through out of turns 2, going down this back straightaway on this opening lap here in the Firekeepers Casino 400 for the 2nd stage at least now, as we're going to clear Cole Custer into turns 3 and hold on to P8. Kevin Harvick all the way up to the top actually there as we come through out of turns 4. Keselowski though won stage 1, and now he finds himself still out front over the 2nd place driver of our teammate of Denny Hamlin as we come through down this front straightaway. Hamlin, of course, been very dominant so far to start the season. A bunch of wins, as well as our other teammates of Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. Sure enough, now on lap 2 in stage 2, I send it up the inside of Kyle Busch now into turns 3, and we're actually going to clear our teammate of Kyle Busch now as we came through out of turns 4 right behind that 6 6 of Ryan Newman, who started on pole, clearly showing that he's continuing to have some speed. But now out of turns 2 and lap 3, I leave the door open there for Kyle as I push up the track just a little bit, and he's actually able to get back up my inside as we dive down towards the 3rd turn. So not what I wanted to do, but unfortunately he was able to make that move. Now as Hamlin was trying to take the lead now from Martin Truex Jr., who had taken the lead from Keselowski. So it was actually a 3-car battle up front right now as we slide in behind our teammate of Kyle Busch here as we come through now on lap 4 of stage 2. Kyle had worked his way now up the inside of Ryan Newman, so of course I'm going to follow my teammate of Kyle Busch here, nearly make it 3 wide now. As you can see, all the front runners are running up by the outside wall. A very interesting strategy, but now we had help coming from behind. Logano and William Byron had run all of us down here, and now I get a huge push from Joey Logano there, and the Penske drivers go down towards turns 1. We might even get up the inside of our teammate of Kyle Busch. Yes, we do now as we dive down into turns 1, and we might even get more help from Joey Logano as we come through out of turns 2. But now you see Truex continuing to lead as I slide up in front of the 6 of Newman, who is as well a draft partner. So he gives me the push instead of Logano. And then I'm going to get to the inside of Kyle Busch again into turns 3 and do everything I can to clear him now as we almost get him clear. But out of turns 4, he barely hangs on to the right rear quarter panel. As you see, Kevin Harvick up in P5 has kind of faded from that front 4 now, as he might be in trouble as we all have a pack right here of cars. And we might have a chance to run down Kevin Harvick now as we come through with 7 laps to go on the stage. And Logano pushes me out front of Kyle Busch here as we're going to hold on to P6, but as we dive down into turns 1, Logano goes to the outside, and as soon as he does that, he's able to get to my outside, and he's going to blow right by me here as we go down this backstretch. So now I'm going to have to slide in behind the 22 of Joey Logano, just in front of our teammate of Kyle Busch. So definitely not what I wanted to do, is lose that spot to Logano, as I knew he was a draft partner. He was doing a great job pushing me, and I tried to pass him in turns 3. Couldn't quite make it work, but now William Byron had worked his way up into P8, so I had more help coming from behind. Another draft partner here in Michigan had quite a few of those throughout this race now as we come through turns 3 on lap 7 of 12 here in the 2nd stage. But now there's trouble behind Tyler Reddick going into turns 3. A big hit there for him in the 34 of Michael McDowell. The caution comes out. Another big hit for Reddick right there. That was a big crash for those 2 drivers there, as that was a violent hit there for the 34 of McDowell into the outside wall. And what surprised me is we stayed out, but Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin, who were running P1 and P2, came to the pit lane now with just 2 laps to go in stage 2. So we move up into P5 for this restart. Byron already showing he wants to be aggressive. He's going to make it 3 wide between myself and Joey Logano there in that number 22 car. I'm going to get aggressive too. Byron's going to do it while I'm going to hop in and make it 3 wide on the SHR duo of Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer here with just 2 laps to go. You got to give everything you can at this point here on the stage now, as Keselowski is the lone wolf out in front. I was hoping that Ryan Newman, who was behind me, was going to link up with my back bumper as a draft partner, but unfortunately it wasn't quite working as I went down into turns 3. So I was hoping I was going to get a big push maybe down the front straightaway here, and we could put the attack on Brad Keselowski to get a stage victory now for the 2nd time in our Cup Series career as we come through out of turns 4. Harvick though stays on my right hand side. I was really hoping to clear him. Unfortunately doesn't happen now as we cross the line. White flag out here in stage 2. Newman closing in on my back bumper, but he's not really going to do much. It gets to my back bumper, but that was it as we dive down into turns 1. So Keselowski now in command as we're still side by side with the 2014 Cup Series champion. Out of turns 2, we got a little bit sideways, leaving the door open for Boyer as well, as Newman gets to the back of me but barely gives me a push, which caught me way off guard. He's been giving us big pushes throughout this race, as well as our other draft partners, Byron and Logano now, as we're up the inside of Harvick again through turns 3. And out of turns 4 now is once again a push coming from Newman. Maybe no, it's not going anywhere as Keselowski comes through to win stage 2, Harvick 2nd, and myself here in P3. Not gonna lie, guys, I was expecting more of a push from the 6 there. I don't know what was holding him up so much. There you heard the radio transmission from myself there. Just a little bit confused with why we didn't get such a big push there from the 6 of Ryan Newman when we've been getting very large pushes from our draft partners throughout the rest of this race so far. But we would cover the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel, as well as 4 tires, and get ready to go green here for the 3rd and final stage. And there you see Truex and Hamlin, who pitted at the end of stage 2, giving up stage points, now find themselves out in front here for stage 3. Will the strategy work? We're going to find out as this 3rd stage is underway. Hamlin and Truex are going to have to pit earlier than the rest of the field. if it stays green, which could really put them in a bad spot. We know that a lot of times the caution has come out around the pit cycle, so that really could mess him over now as we dive down into turns 1 here on this first and opening lap of the third and final stage. Kevin Harvick up my inside. Truex already clear for that lead. He can slide up in front of our JGR teammate Denny Hamlin as soon as he would like to now, but he looks like he's going to kind of protect that bottom lane over the second place driver of Brad Keselowski. But I was really surprised to see the strategy because they're going to be on slightly older tires now, as we obviously just came in for fresh tires as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. Going to slide in behind the 22 of Joey Logano. Kurt Busch has found himself up in P7. You heard from Andrew Wisdom at the start of this episode or of this race here in the pit lane. He said Kurt Busch really needs to get his act together. So does that whole car, the whole one team. Now as we dive down into turns 1, they're right on the outside, like I said, of that playoffs, but with a good result like what they're going to get right now, they can find themselves back in that playoff hunt here today in Michigan. Now, as I mentioned, 5 finishes outside the top 30 this season for that one team. Now as we go down the back straightaway towards turns 3, trying my best to stay with these front 5 cars, because if we lose contact with these guys, our chances of winning get completely scratched. Now as we come through out of turns 4, closing in though on the back of Joey Logano and kind of leaving the one car in the distance now, and that would continue as we came through on lap 37. Now Keselowski, though, he had found himself out front here in Michigan as I slide up in front of my teammate of Truex. It was all the way up at the wall, and now we're going to have a big push coming from our teammate of Truex, and I'm going to kind of glide him to the bottom. We're going to take a 3 wide with Hamlin and Logano as we dive down into turns 1. A very aggressive move as we go into the corner, but we had the help from Truex to do it. Unfortunately, it looked really strong going into the corner, but through the rest of the corner, the run just kind of dies as we come through out of turns 2. I get very loose there as we go down the straightaway, and unfortunately, we're going to have to fade back here in the 6th position. Now Truex, though, he would find himself up in 2nd as he passed Kevin Harvick. I would get back up the inside of Joey Logano, doing what I can to get past him as we go down the front straightaway, coming through to just 11 laps to go here in Michigan for the Firekeepers Casino 400 as we come through, sliding back in behind that 22. I could not pass him to save my life now, and Truex, he was running down the 2 of Keselowski as he had left us behind. Now as we come through out of turns 2, Harvick, though, had started to fade down the order a little bit. Now he drops to P5 as I'm going to go up the inside into turns 3, right behind the 22 of Logano as we go into turns 3. A little bit of contact there just for a brief moment on the back of that 22's bumper. Now he gets up the inside of Hamlin, and I clear Kevin Harvick as we come through out of turns 4. So now Harvick will be a draft partner, but he can't quite get to me. It seems like he's really struggling on speed here as we get up the inside of Hamlin, our teammate. Now it seems like almost both him and Harvick kind of starting to struggle in here as we come through now up into P4 with less than 10 laps to go now as we dive down into turns 1. Harvick up the inside of Hamlin as we're on the apron. We're sideways, but we make a big save here out of turns 2. Usually you get down on that apron like that, you're going around, but we made a huge save. We lose a little bit of ground, or a lot of ground, but we would actually surprisingly run Kevin Harvick back down now with that draft. Of course, obviously helps us a lot, but Martin Truex Jr. ran Keselowski down and passed him for the lead here. Now as we came through to hit 7 laps to go as I give Harvick a little bit of a push, trying to close him up to the back of the 11 of Hamlin a little bit. Now as we come through, though, down the back straightaway here, the same lap up the inside now of Kevin Harvick as we go down towards turns 3, trying to make a move for that 5th position now as we go down into turns 3. And now we actually have Martin Truex Jr. who's getting ready to come to the pit lane, as well as Denny Hamlin as we come through out of turns 4. Then the caution comes out. We slam into the back of Hamlin, but the caution is out. No replay. I can confirm, though, it's for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who is now out of this race here in Michigan. But now we're going to have to come to the pit lane, and for some reason the caution came out before Truex is in the pits, but they're going to allow him, I guess, apparently to do his pit stop under the caution, which was very weird. I decided, of course, we're going to do half a can of fuel, no tires, because there's only going to be, 2 or 3 laps to go. I think it will be 3 laps to go, and we actually are going to be on the front row with Martin Truex Jr. here for the restart, which will be our chance at victory for the first time in our Cup Series career here in Michigan. Now as we're underway for 3 to go, but the car doesn't go. Now, due to the contact on the caution with Denny Hamlin, the car just does not go. And at the time, I completely forgot about that. I was excited to have a chance at our first win, and now the car doesn't go. You've got to be kidding me. I'm so sorry, guys. There you hear it there. Nothing I could do, of course, but it really sucks as we're actually 4 wide for a moment, but the car falls down all the way to P15 here with 2.5 laps to go in Michigan. Absolutely gutted now as we dive down into turn 3. We had a chance to get our first win finally here in the Cup Series on a final restart on the front row with Martin Truex Jr. And unfortunately didn't work out. We had draft partners around us. I saw a huge opportunity for us to potentially win that race, but now we're 3 wide in the middle between Elliott and Kyle Busch. Now as we get ahead of Elliott, we pass Kyle Busch. Now as we're almost clear of him down into turns 1, and sure enough into turns 1 we do clear him for P11. Now as we came through now towards the final lap, the tire icon now had come on at this point, but now we get to the right hand side there, aggressively side drafting Matt DiBenedetto's. We're stuck though behind the 1 car of Kurt Busch here on the final lap in Michigan. Martin Truex Jr. though is long out in front of second place of Brad Keselowski as we come through out of turns 2. Logano, Harvick, Elliott, no, sorry, not Elliott, Clint Boyer up there in the mix as we go down the back straightaway, pushing Kurt Busch here on this final lap, trying to get clear of Matt DiBenedetto. Sure enough, we clear him for P10. We can at least get a top 10 out of this here as we dive down into turns 3, trying to get up the inside of Kurt Busch, as well as we have help coming from behind though from the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto now as he actually gets to my bumper and actually hooks me nearly there, and he nearly gets me again as we come through sliding through the grass. We save it there now as we slide through the grass, crossing the line. P11 here on Michigan International Speedway in the Firekeepers Casino 400. Out of turns 4 there, I guess it was just, I think, a combination of the worn tires. I almost got hooked by Matt Kenseth a few times in the same spot, but I think it was more on the tires there. Out of turns 4, DiBenedetto just got my back bumper. I almost saved it once, and then I kind of corrected back right, and then when that happened, I just kind of got hit again, and then obviously it pulled me left towards the grass, but we managed to hang on to the car without a problem. Went through the grass in the process, but we still got P11 out of it, but so disappointed to have a chance at winning and get it taken away because of that. But now it's time to go do our quick post-race interview with Matt O'Brien.
That's got to be a tough one to swallow, Gary. In position to get your first win on the last restart, and your car just didn't go. What happened?
Oh yeah, man, that was a tough one to swallow, Matt. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, we were in position there on the last restart, but the caution that happened just before there for that restart, I got into the back of Denny when he was coming to the pit lane, and that kind of messed us over there for the final restart, because as soon as we got going, the car didn't go, and unfortunately that's not the first time it's happened to us here this season, but unfortunately that's the first time it's taken a chance of winning away from us. I think we were in a good position. We had some partners that were willing to work with us there on that final restart, and I thought we were going to be lined up really well there. If I could have just stuck with Truex down the back straightaway side by side, I think we were going to be in a good position, or even if I could have just been right behind him and got up his inside or something, but very unfortunate. Although we got, P11, didn't even get a top 10 out of it. Unfortunately, there's DiBenedetto just kind of got hooked on my bumper too much there out of 4, and obviously I almost spun out. We got through the grass, but we saved it, and still got P11 out of it. So at the end of the day, it was a solid race for us. Definitely disappointed. I know the fans, as well as myself, want to see us in victory lane. I really want to get that W, but we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. I think we're going road racing, though, next in Sonoma, and I think that's going to be a big chance for us. So yeah, hopefully we can do something there. Alright, there you heard the post-race interview there with Matt O'Brien. Sucks that we couldn't get the victory here today in Michigan, but as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. And the next one I'm really looking forward to, actually. We're going road racing for the first time in our Cup Series career, of course, for the first time this season at Sonoma Raceway out in California. So definitely a track I look forward to. When it comes to road racing, we always have a chance to get a victory. So I think we're really going to have a good chance next time out in Sonoma, so I'm very excited for that one. I'll be giving it everything I got for sure. Now, as definitely felt like we gave away a chance at a win. I'm not saying we gave away a win, but we definitely gave away a very good chance to win a race now. And as well as we would have been P1 on that restart if Martin Truex Jr. didn't for some reason get to make his pit stop under, he didn't have to come in like we did. I don't know how to describe it, but I guess it counted him as he was on the pit lane when the caution came up, but it certainly didn't look like it to me. But definitely we would have been in a different scenario. If that didn't happen, we'd have been lining up P1 for that restart. So there you see the playoff grid, though. Jimmy Johnson with the DNF the second time in the last handful of races. He DNF'd at Martinsville recently as well. Obviously, Truex 3 wins, Kyle Busch 3 wins, Hamlin 4 wins. That's over 10 wins now. Or that is 10 wins. That's right on 10 wins for the JGR squad this season. Here's Kurt Busch is back to that last spot in the playoffs. Unfortunately, though, like I said, Jimmy Johnson with another DNF finds himself all the way outside the top 20 in points. To Benedetto there in 19th, Elliott up to 20th, but Johnson is in a big hole now in 24th, so he's going to have a lot of work to do. But I'll see you guys in the next one in Sonoma. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.